Hi, everybody. This is Debbie Leone, and I have a special guest speaker this morning to, because I know I love to talk about fearless living and how awesome it is and the transformation that happens, but it's always more powerful when it comes from somebody who's been there and from a participant. So this morning, hi, Carrie. So this morning I have one of my clients and fearless living attendees, Barry Freeman, here to kind of share with you his experience and what's happened. So I've got a list of questions I'm going to ask him and let him answer. So Barry, thanks for showing up here.
Of course, happy to do it.
So tell us first, who were you before Fearless Living?
I think before Fearless Living, I was someone that was running on autopilot. I was all about my career. I was all about just focusing on that. And really, over the course of years and decades, ultimately, really just completely lost touch with just being aware of what I really wanted from life and where I was going and why and how the frustrations that I dealt with and the feelings that I was having, but yet really pushing away, was really ultimately undermining my life, and totally unaware of the fact that that process was going on, because again, just kind of singularly focused on career, money, advancement, and just not even thinking about myself or like what I really wanted or what it was all about. So kind of going on autopilot would be the best description for
totally.
how
I remember how frustrated you were. You were so frustrated.
Right.
So what were you most afraid of?
Afraid of failure, afraid of probably being the real me, afraid of like if I actually was my actual self, that I would get rejected or that wouldn't be acceptable to other people, either professional colleagues or my wife or like people in my life that, just I felt like it was more, I was afraid of being real, probably.
Afraid of being real?
Yeah. Afraid of really expressing like what it is that I want, or
look at, there's Jeff Hyman. He knows both of us. Hi,
prioritizing
Jeff.
myself. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
So keep going. So you're afraid of being real. Say more about what afraid of being real.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're all programmed as we grow up and as we mature with what we think our roles are and what we need to be, not just for ourselves, but in the eyes of other people, right? We need to be the successful person. Maybe it's for our parents, or maybe it's for our spouse, or maybe it's for other people that we're trying to impress that we grew up with, but more concerned with playing the role flawlessly as opposed to being real with the ups and the downs and the flaws that come with just being real and being able to show those and own them and not be like ashamed of having them. Right. So
what feelings were you dealing with before you started doing this work in fearless living with not being real?
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
It was mostly just frustration. It was mostly this sense of being out of control and not being able to say the things I wanted to say, do the things I wanted to do, because I felt like I had to bottle it in. Right. So it just felt very compressed and again, frustrated, and ultimately kind of producing anger and resentment towards a lot of things in my life, because just going back to this not being able to be real, it's like, well, in my mind, I was a victim of that. I was a victim of my situations. That I couldn't be myself because of the situation that I was in, as opposed to realizing that ultimately, no, I can be whatever I want to be, and that will shape my environment around me.
And as we explore this, what did you find that was really driving this? What W word?
Right. Worthiness. Right. It's all about that worthiness and reprogramming the beliefs that we have, that we amass over the years, about the fact that we're not good enough, we're not worthy. We don't have an inherent worth to just shine and be ourselves and express those values that we want to be guided by. So I think that's probably the biggest single thing is shedding the unworthiness and really stepping into, you know, your power and your light and
which you have,
and all those sort of more positive beliefs and vision about your potential.
So tell these guys about what you learned about your fear at Fearless Living.
Well, that all fear is a lie, right? I mean, the biggest realization, I think, through the whole process is unpacking all these beliefs that we have. Everyone has these that are in some way self-limiting, that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not good looking enough, we're not intelligent enough, whatever the self-limiting belief is, but it's all rooted in some ego-based lie that we're telling ourselves because deep down we really inherently want to be right, and so we keep proving it to ourselves again and again and again on how, you know, we're not good enough, when in fact we are, if we just are willing to step away from that false belief that we don't have everything that we need. So
listen to the guru who's become, you guys. Oh my God! So let's talk about what it was like when. So you decided to come to Fearless Living, do the 2-day event that you've done more than once.
Yeah,
and
a couple of times.
What was it like? What was it like to explore all of this, your internal world, in a group with other people?
You know,
what was it like?
I'd say, obviously, the first time doing it, it's scary, right? I mean, make no bones about it. You are delving into subjects and matters of your history that maybe no one else knows about, right? But doing it in an environment with other people where it's completely supportive, it's completely safe, and I think the biggest realization is that you're not the only one, right? Everyone goes into this thing, oh my God, I'm the only one that has these weird issues or has these weird thoughts or had this weird experience. And you know what? You aren't.
Every single time I do Fearless Living, somebody always says, oh my God, I thought I was the only one.
Right.
And so you got to see that.
Totally got to see that. And through that process, two things. One, you realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone in this. Like, I'm actually connected to other people through this. But then secondly, that whole experience of the 2 days is this unbelievable, like, bonding, relationship building experience where you walk away with people that now you are connected to for life, you know, whether you expected that or not. Like, you always have this common experience to go back to, and in my case, you know, build on for a couple of years now, and really deepening those relationships and even exploring more deeply some of the possibilities.
So who are you now?
A lot more self-aware, a lot more comfortable in my own skin, and a lot more comfortable in being myself and not having secrets about how I feel about things or what I want, or just being fully expressed, generally speaking. So, you know, just a lot more at ease, and a lot of those frustrations from before the experience have gone away, in part because the experience teaches you about the importance of really just processing emotion and not kind of pushing it away, even if it's negative emotion, right? We all have a tendency to push away things that don't feel good, but in fact, you have to go into that feeling and just process it and let it pass over you. And through that experience, you know, obviously just being a lot more comfortable day to day in different situations. So
tell them about what has happened because of how you shifted your internal world. So
sure.
I know you've struggled with your weight for several years. Tell them about that whole journey.
Yeah, I mean, well, so part of what I really got under through the process was that eating for me was a great, well, it wasn't a great, but it was what I was using as really my stress management release, was eating. And that's obviously just a dysfunctional way of processing the day's stresses and life's stresses. So, you know, I really got to see that through the process, and ultimately get in touch with trying to develop a healthier way to address stress management. So, as you said, I've struggled with it all my life, and I felt like if I was really going to do this and address it in a way that was going to be long-term and profound and, you know, really achieving my goals, I needed to do two things. One, I needed to go public. And secondly, I needed to find a cause that was sort of bigger than just myself. And so in April of this year, I did go public. I launched on Facebook here an announcement that says I was going to lose 100 pounds over the course of a year. That was, roughly 6 months ago. It was mid-April. It's now, late October. So it's about 6+ months. I've lost over 50 pounds. So I'm, halfway there, so to speak, or a little bit over halfway there. I'm right on track. So, and I'm raising money for a very worthy cause, which is Tim Ryan's A Man in Recovery Foundation. And right now, the cumulative amount of the pledges that I've gathered is about $40,000 for the 100 pounds.
His goal was 5,000. Now he's at 40.
Yeah, I thought maybe if I was to be lucky if I got to 5,000, but I'm at 40 now. So just completely blown away with all the support that has come around this initiative, and I've gotten not only just those financial sponsorships, but also just, literally dozens of messages from people that I know and grew up with or went to college with, or quite frankly, I don't even know, and maybe are friends of friends that have messaged me and told me about how I'm inspiring them and motivating them, and they are also kind of engaging in undertaking getting healthy as a result of kind of following my lead. So it's been really gratifying to just, be able to do this for myself, but then also obviously impact a lot of other people along the way. So just a totally different basis of motivation from the historical basis, which is just, I want to look good. I got to lose 20 pounds so that I look good for this event, or for, which is that's a reason, but this reason is way more enduring and motivating. That's
what's so awesome when you really embrace your fears and turn into fearlessness. Not only does it change your life, Barry just shared how many lives he's touched. He's making a huge impact in so many ways, and that's what's so powerful about focusing on yourself, because when you do, you're going to change the world. So is there anything else you'd want anybody to know that's considering attending Fearless Living?
Well, again, I go back to the fact that of course it's scary from the outset. It sounds scary, and it's going to involve, putting yourself out there, but the return on the investment, so to speak, is massive. You can't even quantify it. It fundamentally just shifts your life to a totally different trajectory. So I can't encourage people enough to really do this, because whatever issues it is you feel like you're grappling with, or that you feel have the better of you today, you're going to find a way to get on top of it through this process. So do it.
So where before you were probably a 1 on the worthiness scale, where are you now?
Every day is different, but I'd say I spend a lot more time in the 9 and 10s
That's so awesome.
than I ever did before. So
awesome. Thanks, Barry. So you guys, the next one is November 18th and 19th. I'll post the link here. And if you have any questions, want to know anything, if you're afraid, that means you should do it. If you're not afraid, that means you should do it. All right. So thanks, everybody.
Or message me if you want.
Yeah, message Barry.
More perspective.
Yeah, and I promise I didn't pay him to do this.
Nope.
All right. Have a good weekend. Bye.